All right. Welcome to another fabulous episode of Fan Faces. Action-packed, lots of juicy things. It's been 2 weeks. It has been two full weeks since I was last year, but we still bring the heat, baby. Since it's the baseball playoff season, we're bringing that curveball to y'all.
Yes.
You feel me? So, Andrew.
Yes.
How's the week been? How's your life been?
Depressing. It's horrible.
Like I was saying behind the scenes. Life has its peaks and valleys. What goes down must come up. What comes up must go down. So let's just keep plugging away. Find another hole to pop.
The nice thing is that October is to me probably one of the best months for sports. So it's nice. So there's a lot of good things to watch. I see you're wearing your baseball hat today. I'm wearing a baseball hat today. I'm trying to figure out who's left in the playoffs and what hat do I have left that's in it. We have the Diamondbacks, the Phillies, the Rangers, and the Astros. And I have a Texas Rangers hat from when I was in Dallas last December. And got a chance to check out their ballpark. It's really pretty. It's a really nice ballpark.
Oh, that's great. Got to have enticing, what's it called?
It's going to be a madhouse them playing against the Astros. You're going to have all the Houston fans.
So the Dodgers are out?
The Dodgers are out. They got swept.
They spent all that money on that big old, a big old roster?
I think I saw a statistic that the Pittsburgh Pirates had a better record than the New York Mets. And the Mets had the highest payroll of all of baseball.
Well, it goes to show you all about talent, baby.
It is.
But before we even move further, let's talk about, let me say some of the topics that we're diving into. We got a little bit of college football. Andrew's feeling, hyped about it. We got a little bit of NFL football, a little bit of football, a little bit of scandal. It's happening in there, mixing the pot a little bit. We got the NBA preseason starting off. We got Wemby and Chet. Let's see where that goes. We will dive into that. We got Drake and Joe Budden going back and forth at it. Basically, Drake going at it with anybody who wants smoke. He's out here, dog, broski, free smoke, baby. Trying to hit up my my Toronto accent. It's not the greatest, but I'm trying, dog.
You don't have much of an accent.
No, the Toronto Canadians, they do. They go, dog, broski.
Do they?
Yeah. I was watching a lot of TikToks yesterday, and they're like, "What's up, dog? What's up, broski? Don't get me cheesed out here, man." I'm like, "Oh God."
You're from Jamaica?
It's a mix of British English. It's a mix of British English, Jamaican patois, and American. And maybe French Canadian as well. They mix everything in there in the pot. But let's get the show on the road, huh, Andrew?
Let's get it going.
Hit us.
With what? Let's talk about the Colorado Buffaloes. I got home from work last night early. It was 29-0. They were beating Stanford at halftime, 29-0. And then I was getting cleaned up, ate a little food, turned back to the game. It's 29-19. This game's over. I'm going to bed.
That's what we all thought.
And I wake up and Stanford came back and beat them in overtime. That is the biggest slice of humble pie if you're up 29-0 at home and you lose that game. I mean, hey, look, Deion's been great for the college football scene. No denying that. The energy, the charisma, the confidence is awesome. I love
Talk to
talks.
Deion. Talk to Deion.
The best. It's just awesome. It's so refreshing to hear this. It's a lot of people rooting for him. To lose 29-0 after that lead, that's not a slice of humble pie. That is the whole pie.
Well, here's the crazy thing, right?
It's not like Stanford's that great.
No, well, they found something that was working for them, and they kept going back to it over and over again. But here's the crazy thing. Colin says, as a head coach, your side of the ball should always be ready to go. Deion's side of the ball is not offense, it's defense. He's one of the greatest cornerbacks to ever play the game. A Super Bowl champion on multiple teams, set multiple records, and the defense is just not playing up to keeping up the snuff with the offense.
Right.
And I'm not I'm a football fan. I'm not a football coach by any means, but it seems like the Buffalo defense, Colorado Buffalo's defense, need to get back to the fundamentals and basically tackle, wrap around. Don't let guys bounce off you like ping pong balls, because that's all I'll see.
Right.
The Cardinals were running a lot of crossing routes, and Colorado seems to not just be able to tackle these guys. Like, they got slicked fingers, slicked hands, and they like roll themselves up in oil, which is, you play. You pride yourself as a college football team, as a football team, period, to be a 4-quarter football team. All 4 quarters. Go from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. Play tough, play hard, execute. And Deion prides himself in execution, but his side of the ball, the defense, is not executing. They seem to, they're playing in the Pac-10, which, they're not known for their tremendous defense. All their games are always high scoring, whatever. All the teams that play in the Pac-12, high flying teams. And they never really play great defense, but they score on you a ton. And Deion, is it Pac-12 or Pac-10?
It's Pac-12. It's really the Pac-12.
Okay, Pac-12. So, there has to be some physicality. And
Excuse me.
Deion, your side of the ball needs to get, fine-tuned a little bit. You're 1-3 in your last 3 games.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of what you've done for college football,
Yes.
what you will do for college football. But that role as a defensive-minded head coach, that's what we'll put it out there as.
Yeah.
You need to have these guys on a tight leash. They need to tackle a lot better than they are tackling in the second halves of games.
Right.
That's just it. You can't be losing games high-scoring games like that when your coach is a defensive-minded coach. It's not a Lincoln Riley. It's not, Michael Penix Jr. I don't know the coach's name over there in Washington. So those games, they're going to run you out of the stadium. You need to play some great defense and maybe keep Travis Hunter on one side of the ball. He's great, sure, but playing so many snaps, you need energy. Either put him on defense and make him the greatest corner college football's ever seen, or put him on offense, make him the greatest wide receiver college football's ever seen. But as it stands right now, the team can't do both. The team's not ready, not capable. You're 4-2 now, so.
No, I think they lost 3, right? They've lost to Oregon. They've lost to
USC.
In USC.
So 4-3. 4-3. So tighten up that belt, cowboy. Get on out there, man, and do your thing on the defensive side of the ball. You got Shedeur Sanders. The offense is fine, but the defense.
It'd be funny if Deion Sanders is watching this going, man, thanks a lot, Amadou, for the advice. I really didn't step up the game for the defense.
Well, no, you're a defensive-minded coach. You need to motivate these guys. It's not necessarily coaching.
I think motivation is the least of what his concern. I think Deion Sanders motivates very well.
Does
you can
he?
motivate. Yeah.
There's 4 quarters in the game, and your team.
You can motivate them all you want. They still have to go out there and perform.
Your team loses motivation in the second
I
half.
don't think they lost motivation. They just didn't.
They can't tackle. What's that called?
Stanford just being better.
No, Stanford exploiting what they see out there. If you're playing zone, they're exploiting your zone, and clearly it's not working for you. Put a scheme out there that fit the guys that play for you. That's it. But let's keep it pushing, man. The state of Colorado is having a terrible month, really, and terrible week, because the Broncos lost. Denver Broncos, they lost. They're 1-5 now. Sean Payton,
Right.
All that big talk. He lost to the Jets. That that could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Losing to the Jets, but losing to the KC the way you did. It's like the offense had no rhythm whatsoever. Couldn't get going. The running game was fine, but the passing game, total garbage, bro. What's happening, Sean Payton? You came out here guns blazing.
He's looking for that number 1 pick at this point.
He can't. You still gotta pay Russell Wilson, so that's.
Nah, they'll buy him out this year, and then they'll be done.
So you feel Russell Wilson's gonna give up all that money?
No, the Broncos have an option. They have the option to pay him. I think it was like the $37 million for if they do a buyout. If they don't, if they don't buy him out before a certain date at the end of this year, I think it's like they have to pay him like the full amount, which is like something like 80 something or more than that, way more than that. But anyway, I don't know the exact numbers, but yeah, they're gonna let him go this year. In other words, they're letting him go. He's done. He'll get his money and then he'll be out.
Isn't that's crazy? So here's the crazy part. All right, Bill Belichick.
Yes.
Sucking right now.
Yes.
They're saying Tom Brady was the reason why he was successful all those years.
Okay.
Russell Wilson goes to Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Denver's garbage.
Mm-hmm.
2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Carroll. So two ends of the spectrums here.
Oh.
One end is giving the coach all this love for being able to pivot and doing things, and then one end giving the quarterback all this love.
So like with Geno Smith and what Pete Carroll's doing with Geno Smith.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What Pete Carroll's doing with Geno Smith,
You know?
it's like, whoa, okay, it was really you. What Tom Brady did without Bill Belichick, wow, okay, it was really you. It wasn't, the head coach. So that's just crazy. But Sean Payton, I know it's year one, but you came out there guns a-blazing, talking about everybody's coach up and down and what they can and cannot do. Bro.
Yeah, just don't talk crap about it like that.
Keep your glasses on, look straight ahead and say nothing else.
Big old, you get the whole pie too for the home pie. Not slice the whole one. But you know what? Just because he's having a bad year doesn't mean he's not going to be successful there. It's like, remember with Jimmy Johnson when he came to the Dallas Cowboys, his first year, he only won a game.
Well, no, Andrew.
It was one game he won that entire year, and 2 years later, he's
Andrew.
win the Super Bowl.
I'll say this.
What?
When Jimmy Johnson came to the Cowboys, they were terrible.
Of course.
And he was, back then, you were given a long leash. Long leash as head coaches.
Right.
Nowadays, if Sean McVay goes to a terrible Rams team, turns them around, boom.
Yeah.
Mike McDaniels goes to the Dolphins, 2 year, turns them around, boom.
Wow.
Sean Payton, Super Bowl winning coach.
Mm-hmm.
How long of a leash do you think he'd have if you can't turn them around?
What
Because it's an offensive league now.
Okay, so then what do all those coaches have in common that have been turning it around?
They had a quarterback. Russell Wilson is a quarterback. His numbers have
You are
tremendously
correct.
improved.
He plays the quarterback position.
No. Not only did he play the quarterback position, he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Okay.
So
By a team that was
by those standards,
Uh-huh.
Sean Payton should turn this team around pronto, because supposedly he fixed the offensive. Offensive coaches are good at fixing the offensive line,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you come in, you fix the offensive line, you fix the quarterback. That's what he took the job to do.
Okay.
And right now it's not happening. So
Right now, it's not happening.
no, it's not happening. Things not going as they should.
That's why they're going to draft him a quarterback.
Who do you think? So there's a plethora of quarterbacks out there. There's Drake May from South Carolina, and then there's Michael Penix Jr., and then there's Caleb Williams, USC.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the top three names that are known, and then you could add there's Shedeur Sanders if he comes out, even though his father says he's not coming out. Who do you think would best fit a Sean Payton-esque system? A guy with a big arm.
Yeah, you have to do the
there's
big
three
arm.
of them.
I mean, that's what Drew Brees. Drew Brees wasn't that mobile, so he doesn't really need a mobile quarterback.
No, times have changed. You do need a mobile quarterback.
Drew Brees wasn't mobile, but he still was doing very well.
You need a mobile quarterback in this day and age. Linebackers are coming in fast, running like 4.4s.
Okay.
Get the hell out the way if you can't run. Because you would get smashed. And you would have a very short career. But, let's get it moving out of the state of Colorado and football-wise. Funny, the Minnesota Vikings, they have won one game.
One game.
And they got all this talent. That's crazy. They got an offensive-minded coach, too.
Yeah, but a lot of their talent's injured. Isn't Jefferson out now for a while?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's funny that, like, Kirk Cousins is now, like, the hot topic of trade demands. And Ryan Tannehill. Like what are the Jets going to do?
The Jets should take none of them.
None of them, I agree.
Suck and go get the first overall draft
I
pick.
agree.
And call it a
I
day.
agree.
Build your team that way. But will Robert Saleh end up being the coach there?
Yeah,
Is he willing to risk it?
I think so.
Ah.
I think they'll give him another year.
Well, on to
And who else? Who are they going to replace him with?
an offensive minded head coach.
Yeah.
Somebody from San Francisco staff.
Excuse me, I got a bad cough anyway.
San Francisco and
My
Philly.
apologies.
San Francisco and Philly are 5-0, the only undefeated teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's crazy. There's like them and then the rest of the league. The rest of the league. Okay, Kansas City's 4-1, but that's like it. The rest of the NFL is like 3-2 or 2-2. There's like 3 teams that are separating themselves from the pack. Oh no, 4. 2 AFC teams are 4-1. 2 NFC teams are 5-0.
Yeah.
The Dolphins are 4-1, and everybody else is just boxing it out. The Bills had a terrible game against Jacksonville. Why do you think that was?
That they're having what? A bad.
The Bills had a terrible game in London at Tottenham Stadium. Shouts out to
Because
Tottenham.
first off they're complaining about the field
Yes, they said it was
for starters, which is I'm surprised because I thought that field is grass because of the soccer team. Because they all play on grass.
No, they can change it. They can change the
So
field.
then why would they change their already grass field and put the turf down?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
They
Probably
just
cheaper.
they just should have played on the grass.
They probably didn't want the grass field to be
You know,
ruined by
I
football.
mean I understand. I mean, what was it? Wasn't it just the last Super Bowl that was in Arizona, and they were complaining about the field on that one too. Like it was just very slippery.
Yeah.
Was that the last Super Bowl?
Yeah. It was very slippery.
Yeah, it's just, and they're really claiming to get the all the grass, and I guess the NFLPA wants that as well, and the NFL's like, well, I don't know, it's not that easy, and I'm like, yeah, it is. I mean, you guys are a multi-billion-dollar company. It's grass, grow some grass. Man.
You don't have to be a multi-billion-dollar company to just do what needs to be done
I agree.
to correctly make things happen.
I agree.
That's just it.
I agree.
You just gotta get started.
I like how it's not that easy, but yeah, like the foundations of football, they all had grass until like what, the 70s.
Well,
And other than that, every team had grass.
Andrew, turf is easier to maintain
Well, they seem to be doing it well for the first 4 years of the NFL.
because you don't have to cut it. It's standard all the time.
Yeah.
And once the lines have been painted on, they just need to repaint every now and then.
I'm just saying.
Simple.
It seemed to work well for the NFL for the first like 40, 50 years, until they had the multi-purpose stadiums that started to come out.
Well, that's because owners decided that they needed to find other ways to make money. A stadium cannot just be for one thing, one use. There's concerts that are happening, and real grass gets destroyed during concerts because you're moving lots of equipment in and out of the arena. So they needed to, make good use of their venues.
Okay.
Not just for
Well,
the season.
their product's gonna suffer if all their high quality players are gonna get injured on their garbage turf.
Yeah, the Bills got a lot of defensive players injured.
Yeah, so-
Lots, and the offense couldn't move for nothing.
Grass would be nice.
But besides that, it's also the fact that time zone changed. The Bills didn't leave here till Thursday night, and London's 5 hours. There's a 5-hour difference
It's 5 hours.
from America, and you got to get adjusted. Otherwise, you're not moving. But I mean, Josh Allen, towards like the fourth quarter, they tried. He put up some big numbers, even though it's garbage time numbers. Put up some big numbers, but you guys gotta. If you have an overseas game, you gotta just find a way to get there earlier, especially if you're just practicing here. Because Jacksonville had a whole week there to prepare for you to come. So they were obviously smoother in transition versus you coming in the next day, underestimating them when you need to win every game, because the first seed in the NFL from each division, the AFC from each league, the AFC and the NFC, the number 1 overall seed gets a bye, not top 2.
That's true.
So you need to, every game counts so that way you can get a bye. So instead of playing 6 games, you're playing 4 games to get to the championship. So keep that in mind. But let's meander and smooth our way onto the NBA. The NBA preseason has started. Also, hockey preseason has started. Buffalo.
That's Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh Pirates. Pittsburgh Penguins.
Buffalo's never won the Stanley Cup. They've been to the finals twice in their 50-something plus years of existence. What is it? No, 1970. So what is it? 2023.
53.
53 years now of existence, and they've only been to the finals twice.
Well, it's all right.
1975, 1999, and that's it.
Hey.
And then Vegas wins the championship. They're the defending champions in the Middle League for 6 years.
They found a way to get players that care.
They care.
No, you got players that have been, outcast from every other team, and they came together. They found it was us versus them.
They have a good system over there.
Us versus
Much
them.
better than Buffalo.
Well, it worked out. But it worked out great for them. But on to basketball.
Mm-hmm.
We got Chet. I don't know Chet's last name.
Holmgren?
Chet Holmgren from Oklahoma Thunders. The Oklahoma Thunder and Victor Wembanyama, the two towers. They're supposed to be the next two marquee players, but they're both very, very, very skinny players. Very tall, but very skinny. How do you think they're gonna hold up to the test of time with their bodies, Andrew?
Well, if history is a great lesson for us, it's probably not long. I mean, think about even I think the skinniest player that I could think of is Manute Bol, Sean Bradley were both really skinny. They didn't really have very successful careers. I imagine that Chet and Victor are going to be a lot better than those two.
Well, there's definitely better nutrition now.
It's gonna, but
and training that you can do to,
hopefully
elongate your career.
But it's hard. I mean, not everyone can have a career like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who plays in the league for like 20 years.
Okay. Well, let's transition.
And Hakeem Olajuwon, there have been centers that have had very good long careers.
Let's transition. Which one of them you think is going to have a longer career? 5-year career?
I think Victor would. I mean, because Chet already had a season-ending injury last year.
Okay.
So he's already has that on it. So if I had to make a bet right now, I'd say Victor.
So would you also consider Victor to have a successful career if he has a longer career?
Yeah. I mean, from everything that's been shown already, and the fact that NBA they don't play defense very much anyway.
It's hard to play defense when you're going both ends all the time. Offense, defense, one player.
Sure, of course. I don't know how they did it in the 80s and the 90s, but they seem to do it.
Well, people couldn't shoot so well in the 80s and 90s.
They couldn't?
They couldn't shoot so well.
Really?
There's better shooters now. Look at Steph. What are you talking about?
Alex English was an awesome shooter in the 80s. And
Chris
Mullin was a great shooter.
How many points do they have? You don't know. You'll have to look that up. But there's way better shooters
Alex
now.
English almost averaged like 30 points a game in the 80s. He was awesome.
Andrew, there's way better shooters now than there was in the 80s and 90s.
You don't think Larry Bird
doesn't have half the points that Steph has.
Larry Bird was playing in the NBA for like 10 years, and that was it. Because he had back.
He's not a better shooter than Steph.
Okay.
Or Clay.
Or Klay Thompson.
Or Klay Thompson.
You don't think Larry Bird's a better shooter than Klay Thompson? Really?
Clay has lots of points. Splash bro.
But they don't play defense today.
They do. Golden State does play defense.
Look, I love
Clay is the best defender. Was the best defender on Golden State when he played.
That's not saying that.
No. Yes, he was one of the best defenders on Golden State.
Better than Draymond. Was he a better defender than Draymond?
Yes. Draymond kicked people in the balls.
Okay.
Clay was tasked to guard the next great guy on the other team.
Okay.
He was. These are facts. Look him up.
All right.
Draymond's the bully on the team. He's a tough guy on the team.
He's a good defender. It's like Dennis Rodman and Bill Laimbeer were bullies on the Pistons, but
I do believe right now, in this day and age, 2023, Andrew, they shoot the ball way better than they did in the 80s. That is all. There's kids that
literally nobody puts a hand in the face in today's NBA.
They do.
Okay.
You can agree with me or whatever.
You can't even hand check today in today's NBA.
You don't have to hand. They're playing by the rules against them.
I understand that.
The shooters are way better today than they were then. Don't live in nostalgia.
I'm not living in nostalgia.
These kids.
But to sit here and be like Chris Mullen can't shoot, or Larry Bird can't compete with these guys is insane.
There's a few, outliers out there.
I mean, Michael Jordan, for example, is a great shooter.
Andrew, there's a few outliers out there. I understand that. But today's shooters, the guys that you wouldn't consider a shooter per se, is a better shooter than a shooter in the 80. Because you're giving there's no hand checks, but you're given the opportunity.
Reggie Miller, like you don't even think Reggie Miller could compete in today's NBA? Reggie Miller was
I said there's a few outliers.
Of course, there's always.
But the shooting today is better than it was back then. It has to be. Not has to be, it is better. Watching the NBA right now, it's a skill sport. There's kids that specialize in they play basketball. They're not playing multiple sports. They're playing basketball year round. There's that. So that alone gives you a hand up. It's like kids playing 7-on-7. That alone helps kids play football better because they're so specialized because that's all they do 24/7. They go to camps during the summer. They play in their school. They have a personal trainer that helps them out. They have all these specialized things that are happening.
So they have all these specialized things to make their life easier to perform
and make them
makes
better.
Them better shooters.
Yes.
All right.
That's it.
So
today's shooters are better.
I disagree. I would still put Reggie Miller against anybody on that.
You put Reggie Miller over Steph.
I would.
In a 3-point contest.
I would. No, I think Steph Curry.
Okay, Andrew. Okay.
Okay, that's one player. I think Steph. But you're talking about Steph Curry, who's probably arguably the greatest shooter in NBA history. Anybody else in the entire NBA, yes, I would put Reggie Miller. I'd stack Reggie Miller against any of them.
All right, well, I'll put Reggie Miller against Steph. Yes, that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm making my point.
Okay.
There's better shooters today than there was.
Shooters, that's plural.
Shooters. There's better shooters today.
Give me another one.
Dave Lillard.
I don't think he's better than Reggie Miller.
He's a better shooter than Reggie Miller.
Okay.
For sure he's a better shooter than Reggie Miller. Clay's a better shooter than Reggie Miller.
Okay.
Clay got Reggie Miller beating points.
Okay.
Reggie Miller, when it's all said and done, maybe like 100th when it's all said and done. With all the shooters we got coming. Poke. Victor Wembanyama, better shooter than Reggie Miller. And he's a 7-footer.
He's just going to lay up every shot.
No, he can shoot too. Have you seen the boy shoot?
I have seen him shoot.
Yeah, it's a silky shot. He's a better shooter than Reggie Miller. Come on.
Okay.
So, I'll agree with
nonsense.
I'll agree with you that Victor Wembanyama is going to have a better career because he has a better foundation in the Spurs organization. That's why I'll agree to that. And also the fact that Chet Holmgren also has had an injury, plague season. So you can't when you're 7 foot plus, once you start getting injured, you don't get less injured. They just continue to add up and pile up as the years go on. And as you continue to grow, your body tends to deceive you and break down on you a little bit more. So that's only natural, but that's understandable. On to popular topics. We got that boy Drizzy Drake. Oh, popular topics with the football as well. Before we get to Drizzy Drake, we got Buffalo Bills co-workers, not football players, but co-workers in administrative positions. You got the COO, John Roth, out here smashing the legal counsel, Catherine D'Angelo. I've been told by somebody that Catherine's a fox, so they weren't hiding it. They weren't trying to perpetrate it.
There are pictures on the internet, so that's not hard to.
No, I mean, it's not public. It's public information, but you have to go looking for said information. It's not like here's a picture on.
Just click on the story, then you'll see the picture.
So.
Go ahead.
So they were out in London and they took it upon themselves to take a mini vacation as a couple and be unadvisable in their behavior.
Very boisterous with their romance, I guess.
You can't do that if you work together. And especially if one of you is married.
Not in front of the whole entire team. Especially
if one of you is married. And this reminds me of a situation with Ime Doku, ex-head coach of the Boston Celtics. He's dating Nia Long, and he's smashing somebody that he's working with. You can't do that. It doesn't work like that. So, guys, You gotta be covert out here if you're trying to do business like that, right? You can't be a CEO, head of an organization, chief executive officer. Chief, whatever officer you are, you can't be out here, swinging your sword, dingling, all willy-nilly. You gotta tame that down. But that's all. What's up?
Excuse me.
No, that's all right. That's all I got to say about that. But on to Drake and Joe Budden. Drake, you're my guy. You're artist, though. You're public domain and you're public property. If somebody analyzes your album and says it's not the best, a la Joe Budden, you shooting the shots that you shot, it's like there's a personal underlying beef within. Because if anybody else says it, you just let it fly by. And also, Birdman, you need to leave these people alone, man. You can't be out here slinging around intimidating threats like, yo, man, you need to respect my artists. Your artists are public domain. They're out there. They're putting music for the people. And the people include those in the media. Joe Budden has the right to say what he said. He didn't come at you personally. He just said he didn't feel that that's your best album, best work. The album's called for All My Dogs. It's not your best album. In his opinion, life goes on. You continue to create for the people that appreciate you. I'm right here. And don't mind the Joe Buddens of the world or the critics of the world, because clearly your fans enjoy you, and if Joe Budden doesn't enjoy you, life goes on. You're still making money. You're still living your life, Drake. And that's all I got to say about that. And there's no need for really back and forth between you and Joe Budden, trying to undress him as hard as you undressed him, calling him he retired and we didn't retire his jersey. That's kind of like Paul Pierce. They told Paul Pierce, what you think, you Kobe now? You're not getting a Kobe tour. You can't running around here. Because, he thought he was hot stuff. Paul Pierce of the Boston Celtics. He thought he was hot stuff. He wasn't.
He's good with the Celtics, and that was pretty much it. Then he went to the Brooklyn Nets. Didn't do anything with him. And Kevin Garnett was on that team also. Remember?
Yeah. It was a decent team. It was competitive.
Didn't even make it past the first round. Anyway, I digress.
You do. Paul Pierce, you're garbage. That's what Andrew's saying.
He's not garbage.
Hot garbage. Hot poo-poo garbage. That's what Andrew's saying. He just wants to be professional about it.
I remember this one game he went off on the New Jersey Nets. I think it was 2002. It was the playoffs, and they were down big in Boston, and Paul Pierce went nuts. And they came back, won the game. They ended up losing the series, but I remember when they won that game, I was like, "Oh, the series over. Boston's gonna win. They're gonna go to the finals." They still lost, but the hell of a game. I remember that. I think that was 2002, and they beat the Nets.
I wasn't into basketball then.
Yeah, he was great, man. Paul Pierce was a good basketball player, for sure.
Keeping in line with popular culture and popular people, David Beckham released a Netflix special. You know who David Beckham is, Andrew?
No, who is David Beckham? Please?
You really don't know?
No, I really have no clue who David Beckham is. Go ahead.
No sarcasm. Be real.
Yeah, he's the owner of Inter Miami.
He's one of the owners of Inter
He
Miami.
played for Manchester United.
Tell the people. Don't tell me.
Well, you're the one who's asking me.
No. I'm asking because Andrew, you do live in a bubble. You live in a. You do.
He's married to Victoria Beckham, Posh Spice.
Okay.
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 I mean, he is literally probably one of the most famous people at the time, like early 2000s. He was like, you have to live under a rock to know who David Beckham is.
There's a lot of stuff I bring up that you don't know about.
Like what?
So I brought up the Drake and Joe Budden beef. You're like, oh,
okay.
Hold on.
That's beef between Joe Budden and Drake.
Drake,
David Beckham.
Drake is an international artist.
Okay, but I don't know who he has problems with or.
Andrew, my point is.
I know who Drake is. I know his music.
Exactly. So
okay.
When something about him happens, it should pop up on your timeline. He's pretty famous, just like David Beckham. Drake's very famous.
Okay, go ahead.
But anyhow, David Beckham had a Netflix special, 4 episodes or so, and in the episode, they graze over the fact that he had an affair when he was in Madrid. He was in Spain. He played for Real Madrid for a little bit there, and then after that, he came over to America. But he was there, and they asked him, David, your teammates are all single, and you're not. How are you going to deal with being out in Madrid with all these you're a handsome man with all these women throwing themselves at you. He's like, well, I'm happily married. I'm doing my thing. Me and my wife and my kids are all good. And then news broke out that he had an affair.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know.
He had an affair.
I am living in a bubble. Go ahead.
No, not maybe. You definitely are in a bubble. There's lots of things that I bring up that you're like, I don't know. I
just don't give a shit, I guess. Go ahead.
That could be it too.
Go ahead.
But
tell me about this guy's affair.
no, they glazed over the affair in the special, because normally they tell the woman that you had the affair with. They talk about the individual. They didn't talk about it. Okay. And it felt like they're trying to keep David Beckham's image very polished and maintain it as, well, maybe because he paid for it. He paid for the special, or he decided he had final edition edits on it. So they glazed over it, because naturally, if you're gonna talk about somebody's life, you talk about all aspects of his life, especially when you're putting it on tape, especially when they're David Beckham and they're famous like he is. He's a world-renowned guy, known double the world over. Right. So I was just a little taken aback by the fact that, oh yeah, he had an affair, but they didn't show the woman.
Well, I hope they don't.
Oh, thanks to social media in this day and age, we know who the woman is.
Really, like, you know, sometimes when people have these situations that are kind of embarrassing, not everyone needs to know about it. Like, if
you're famous, you're public domain.
I disagree. I just think
you could disagree, but
I know, and it's my personal opinion. Is like, just because you're maybe like that's why you think I live in a bubble. It's not that
it's not that I think you live in a bubble, but continue.
Maybe I just don't don't care to know everybody's personal business. You know what I mean? Like, he had an affair. Maybe, I'm sure he felt really bad about it, or, you know, he had an argument with his wife about it and affected that. I don't need to know about that. It's this man's business. I don't really give a shit. Like, you know, I feel bad about the situation. That's not a cool thing, but it's, you know, sometimes it happens, and you know, move on. You don't need to, like, the whole entire world needs to dissect the situation now, because everyone's got their own problems they all have to deal with. I think that's probably why I don't give a shit so much. It's like Drake and Joe Budden. You made a critique on an album. Drake didn't like it. Okay, so he didn't like it.
No,
well, lots of people
it was deeper than he didn't like it. He undressed a man to the world on an Instagram post. It's not like, oh, you didn't like it, whatever, forget you. It's, oh, you didn't like it? Oh, you're a bum anyways. Why should people listen to you? Anybody that has a dream out there, go follow your dream. Don't listen to somebody that doesn't make money off of music tell you what to do about as far as being a musician.
Right.
So he undressed Joe Budden, not just like, yeah, I'm good, bro. He gave Joe Budden power. That's what I feel like. But before we end the show, I like to say shout out to that boy. He's a Sierra Leonean rapper. His name is Drizzleek. He was on Cypher on BET. And that's our first, man. We're moving, baby. We're moving. Shout out to the boy, Drizzleek. And shout out to all the Final Cuts Media artists. Keep doing your thing. We make good music. It's only a matter of time.
It is good music.
It's only a matter of time before we strike oil.
Send it to Joe Budden. See what he thinks. Maybe he might like it.
Joe Budden. It'd be hard to get to Joe Budden. But there's a record company out there called Empire. And they're out in California. Empire, holla at me.
Records?
Empire Records.
They still exist?
A version of it exists, and they are they take care of they signed a lot of Afrobeat artists, a lot of them. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to get to Empire. Like, listen to my guys' music. Let's do this. Let's work together, man. You got Rain the Reaper. You got El Cash. You got Mr. Press. You got Young Shark. Great music coming from them. Great music out there on all the streaming platforms. Go check them out. Young Shark, Rain, El Cash, D2, Mr. Press, and, you know, all of them. Check them out. Today's episode sponsored by 19 Strings for the Harp. Andrew,
yes,
book is on Amazon. Check it out. And today's episode sponsored by Final Cuts Media. Check out Final Cuts Media on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're everywhere. The music is also everywhere on all streaming platforms. Check out Fan Faces episodes on all streaming platforms for podcasts. Check out Fan Faces video episodes on YouTube. We're out.
Amazing takes.
Amazing takes, amazing episodes, amazing conversations. Join us. Be one with us. Let's move, baby. Let's move. That's it for today's episode. I'm gonna do great. I'm outside.